All right, adding and subtracting polynomials. So a polynomial is just a string of math, basically, with there's usually variables in there and there's usually powers in there. So this is a polynomial. Specifically, it's a binomial. Like bi means two, like bicycle, two wheels, right? Binoculars, whatever. That's a binomial. This is a trinomial because there's three pieces in there. There's three terms, right? One term, two term, three term. One term, two term. So it's a binomial and a trinomial, or just two polynomials. Poly means some number. Nomial means, I don't know what it means. So we're adding these two polynomials together, okay? So this is basically just going to be combining like terms, okay? But there's a little bit of distribution that gets tossed in there too. But so we look at this first set of parentheses, and there's nothing we can do because they're not like terms. And so if there's nothing you can do inside and there's nothing directly outside sitting there waiting to multiply and be distributed, there's nothing we could do, right? So in that case, we can actually just take down those parentheses. So we could just rewrite this just 9x plus 9. Okay, because there's nothing else we could do. If there's nothing you could do, just take down the parentheses. If there was a 3 here or something, then that's a whole different story. That's distribution, but that's not what it is, right? That was yesterday. Now let's look at this one. So there's no like terms again. These both have x's, but one has a power and the other doesn't. So they're not like terms. There is something outside. There's a plus sign. But luckily for us, plus sign doesn't change anything. Okay? When you try to distribute a plus sign onto things, it doesn't do anything. Okay? Because a positive times a negative, this is basically, there's a hidden 1 right there. And you're just multiplying everything by 1, which isn't going to change anything, right? So on this one, we can also, since nothing's going to change, we could just take down we could just get rid of the plus since it's not going to do anything. And we could just rewrite it. Negative 9x squared minus 8x plus 6. Basically nothing changed, okay? You might be asking like, well, then why were those parentheses there in the first place then? You'll see why in a little bit. Not on this problem, but on the next one. So the next thing we got to do is just like terms. So pick out your regular old x's. 9x minus 8x is regular x, just x, right? 9 minus 8 is 1, so just 1x, or just x. Next in line is we've got some regular numbers floating around in here. We've got a positive 9 and a positive 6. So 9 and 6 gives us a positive 15. And then we've got that negative 9x squared, so negative 9x squared. And now this is technically correct, and I think if you put it into like Delta Math or something, it'll count it as correct. But you should organize this by having the power piece first. So the negative 9x squared should be first, and then plus x, because it's a positive x, and then plus 15. They're both right, but that one's nicer, I guess. I don't know. And we're done. That's all. Now let's look at this one. Okay, so again, first we look inside. Right, we've got two polynomials, polynomial, polynomial. We look inside the parentheses, nothing we can do. So, and there's nothing up front waiting to beat it up when it comes out. So let's just take down those parentheses, 5x squared plus 4x plus 8. And let's look at the other set. Nothing we can do in there, but there is something outside waiting to beat it up when it comes out. There's a negative, and we know that that will change stuff, right? The negative flips things. When you multiply something by a negative, it flips the sign. And so in this case, we can't just take down the parentheses. This is what I meant earlier, is there's a reason that they're there, because sometimes you do have to change stuff, because we got to distribute that negative. So that, we can rewrite that, and it's going to end up being plus 9x and plus 3. Okay, so don't just immediately take down the parentheses and get rid of the operation. You got to check if it's actually going to change anything first. But from here, it's just like terms again. So 5x squared, there's no other 5x squared, so just write it down. Or there's no other x squared, so just write it down. 4x, and there's another x over here. So 4 and 9 gives us positive 13x. And then we've got an 8 and we've got a 3. Those will go together and give us 11. And there's our answer. We're all done.